Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're taking a deep dive into a seriously powerful machine. The ASUS ROG Strix G16 from 2024.
Yeah, this thing is a beast.
Whether you're thinking about buying one or just curious about what makes a top-tier gaming laptop tick, stick with us. We're going to break down the specs and what they actually mean for you, for your gaming.
Yeah, because it's one thing to see all the numbers and model names on a spec sheet, right?
Totally.
But it's a whole other thing to understand what they translate to when you're actually in the game. Like, how smooth is it going to run? How quickly can I load in? Can I actually crank up the settings and really immerse myself? Those are the questions we want to answer.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of specs, ASUS is really hitting us hard right out of the gate with this whole power up your play tagline.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking 13th gen Intel Core i7-13650HX processor, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4060 laptop GPU.
I mean, those are some pretty hefty names, right?
They always sound impressive.
Yeah.
Well, what does that actually mean for a gamer?
Well, just imagine, like, picture yourself playing Cyberpunk 2077. Ray tracing cranked up, all the bells and whistles. Or maybe you're more into fast-paced shooters like Apex Legends, right? You want that smooth, buttery gameplay, no lag, no stutters, and that's exactly what this CPU and GPU combo is designed to deliver. Really high-end, top-tier performance.
Okay, so this is where it gets interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because they also talk about the GeForce RTX 4060 having a 140W max TGP, which I guess means it can draw more power, but why is that so important?
That's a great question. You know, most people might just gloss over that little detail, but it's actually really significant. Power basically determines how much juice the GPU can pull to reach its full potential. In this case, 140 watts, that's a pretty generous amount for a laptop. So, you know, for those gamers who really want to push those graphical limits, squeeze every ounce of performance out of their machine, that high TGP is going to make a big difference.
So what about, for someone like me? I'm not really trying to be a pro gamer or anything. I mostly play like indie games, some older titles. Would this be overkill?
You know, that's a great question. And honestly, not necessarily. A higher TGP doesn't just mean more power, it can actually mean a quieter and cooler laptop as well. Because the GPU isn't working as hard to reach those peak performance levels, right?
Right.
So less heat, less fan noise, which is always a good thing. Plus, it also gives you some future-proofing. Games are constantly getting more demanding, so having that extra headroom in the GPU means your laptop will be able to handle whatever you throw at it a few years down the line.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Now let's move on to what they call blazing fast memory and storage.
Okay.
We're talking 16 gigs of DDR5 4800 megahertz RAM and a 1 terabyte PCIe Gen 4 SSD. Again, super impressive specs.
Oh yeah, some serious speed there.
But what does it actually mean for me? If I want to jump into Elden Ring, for example,
yeah,
what's my experience going to be like? Okay, so imagine this. You're hyped to play Elden Ring. You double-click that icon.
Yeah.
And instead of staring at a loading screen for 5 minutes...
Oh, I hate that.
You're in the game, almost instantly.
Bam.
That's the power of that Gen 4 SSD. It's crazy fast.
Okay.
And then when you're actually exploring that massive open world, Elden Ring is huge, you're not going to be running into any stutters or slowdowns because that DDR5 RAM is making sure everything runs silky smooth. And that's even if you're streaming your gameplay at the same time or have a bunch of other apps open in the background, it can handle it.
All right. One thing that I always worry about is overheating,
Oh, yeah.
Especially with gaming laptops.
Big concern.
It gets so hot. But ASUS is talking about Origin Intelligent Cooling here.
Yeah.
They're using Thermal Grizzly's Conductonaut Extreme Liquid Metal on the CPU, and they've also added, an extra intake fan. Is this just marketing hype, or is it actually going to make a difference in the real world? So this is actually something that's really interesting to me, because we've seen benchmarks, real-world testing, and this cooling system actually keeps temperatures significantly lower than laptops that use traditional thermal paste. It's pretty impressive.
Wow.
And what that means for you as a gamer is that you're going to get more consistent performance during those long gaming sessions. You don't want your laptop throttling down in the middle of the raid because it's getting too toasty.
Right.
And potentially less fan noise, too. It's not a magic bullet, though. If you're really pushing the laptop to its limits, like max settings for hours and hours, you might still see some throttling, especially in a really demanding game.
Okay, so not a magic bullet, but definitely sounds like a big step forward.
Definitely.
All right, let's talk visuals. We got to talk about this Swift display. We're talking a full HD 165 hertz panel, 100% RGB, Pantone validated.
That's a mouthful, huh?
It's a lot of jargon, so break it down for me. What's a gamer going to be excited about here?
Okay, imagine watching, like, a Formula One race on a regular TV, and then you switch over to a super high refresh rate monitor. That's kind of what the difference is like with this 165 hertz panel. The action is so incredibly smooth, especially in fast-paced games where every millisecond counts. It's going to give you a serious edge. And then you've got the 100% sRGB color space, along with the Pantone validation. That means the colors you're seeing are incredibly accurate, super vibrant, true to what the game developers intended. It's not just about pretty pictures, it's about a truly immersive experience.
And to sweeten the deal even further, they're throwing in 90 days of Xbox Game Pass.
Nice.
For someone new to PC gaming, is that a good value?
Oh, absolutely. It's like having a free pass to a giant library of games. Hundreds of titles, all different genres, AAA games, indie darlings, you name it. You can try out all sorts of stuff, see what you like, without having to buy each game individually.
Wow, that's awesome. So to sum it all up, powerful performance, lightning fast memory and storage, cooling that's designed to keep everything running smooth, a display that delivers stunning visuals, and then you get Game Pass on top of that.
It's a pretty sweet package.
I'm impressed. What about you? What stands out the most to you?
Honestly, for me, it's that combination of the high TGP GPU and the advanced cooling. Like, they're really focusing on sustained performance, which is so important, not just for those demanding games today, but also for the lifespan of the laptop. It makes you think, with gaming tech evolving so rapidly, how do we make sure the investments we make today are still going to be relevant in a few years? Something to ponder, right?
Definitely. All right, that's it for our deep dive on the ASUS ROG Strix G16. We'll see you next time.
See ya.